the seat of the pants. We try to have very little rehearsal, so we teach that today.
Less is more.
We're reading Stone Soup.
Hi.
Hi.
Three monks, Hawk, Locke, and Sow, traveled along the mountain road. They talked about cat whiskers, the color of the sun, and giving. What makes one happy, Sow? Asked Hawk, the youngest monk. Old Sow, who was the wisest, said, Let's find out. The sound of the bell threw their gaze to the rooftops of a village below. They could not see from so high above that the village had been through many hard times. Famine, floods, and war had made the villagers wary and untrusting of strangers. They had even become suspicious of their neighbors. The villagers were charred, but only for themselves. There was a farmer, a tea merchant, a scholar, a seamstress, a doctor, a carpenter, and many others, but they had little to do with one another. When the monks reached the foot of the mountain, the villagers disappeared into their houses. No one came to the gates to greet them, and when people saw them in the center of the village, they closed their windows tight. The monks knocked on the door of the first house. There was no answer. Then the house went dark. They knocked on the second door, and the same thing happened. It happened again and again, from one house to the next. But these people do not know happiness, they all agreed. But today, said Sow, his face bright as the moon, we will show them how to make stone soup. They gathered twigs and branches and made a fire. They placed a small tin pot on top and filled it with water from the village well. A brave little girl who had been watching came to them. What are you doing? She asked. We are gathering twigs, said Locke. We are making a fire, said Hawk. We are making stone soup, and we need 3 round smooth stones, said Sow. The little girl helped the monks look around the courtyard until they found just the right ones. Then they put them in the water to cook. These stones will make excellent soup, said Sow. But this very small pot won't make much, I'm afraid. My mother has a bigger pot, said the girl. The little girl ran home. As she started to take the pot, her mother asked what she was doing. The 3 strangers are making soup from stones, she said. They need our biggest pot. The girl's mother said. Stones are easy to come by. I'd like to learn how to do that. The monks poked the coals as smoke drifted up. The neighbors peered out from their windows. The fire and the large pot in the middle of the village was true curiosity. One by one, the people of the village came out to see just what this stone soup was. Of course, old-style stone soup should be well seasoned with salt and pepper, said Hawk. That is true, said Locke, as he stirred the giant pot filled with water and stones. But we have none. I have some salt and pepper, said the scholar, his eyes big with curiosity. He disappeared and came back with salt and pepper and even a few other spices. Sow took a taste, and the last time we had stone soup stones of this size and color, carrots made the broth very sweet. Carrots, said a woman from the back. I may have a few carrots, but just a few. And off she ran. She returned as many carrots as she could carry and dropped them into the pot. Do you think it would be better with onions? asked Hawk. Oh, yes. Maybe an onion would taste good, said the farmer, and he hurried off. He returned in a moment with 5 big onions, and he dropped them into the bubbling soup. Now that's a fine soup, he said. The villagers all nodded their heads, and the smell was very agreeable. But only if we had some yellow zucchini and patty pan squash, said Sow, rubbing his chin. The villagers licked their lips. A few dashed away and returned with the fresh bell pepper, garlic, and bay leaves. Something magical began to happen among the villagers as each person opened their heart to give the next person gave even more. And this happened. The soup grew richer and smelled more delicious. I imagine the emperor would suggest we add tomatoes, said one villager. And thyme, said another. I have some, people cried out. And off they ran, returning with all they could carry. The monks stirred and the pot bubbled. How good it smelled, how good it would taste, how giving the villagers had become. At last the soup was ready. The villagers gathered together. They brought rice and steamed buns, and they brought lychee nuts, sweet cakes. They brought tea to drink, and they lit lanterns. Everyone sat down to eat. They had not been together for a feast like this for as long as anyone could remember. After the banquet, they told stories, sang songs, and celebrated long into the night. Then they unlocked their doors and took the monks into their homes and gave them very comfortable places to sleep. In the gentle spring morning, everyone gathered together near the willow to say farewell. Thank you for having us as our guests, said Then we mostly just work on continuing to plant new stuff and make sure our garden looked okay.
Do you want to talk about what happened to the trees out front?
One Thursday when everybody met together, we had some people from Portland Fruit Tree Project come and show us how to trim down the apple trees because they had gotten really big. So now they're really, really small. But, yeah.
And on last Thursday, we all went to a different church and we made stone soup. And we had like all those vegetables and we made it we chopped all the vegetables up and put it in the soup.
And the soup is for everybody who wants it. Anybody who wants it.
Thank you for all the support here at Leaven. It's been a wonderful summer and a great experience for everyone that's been involved, and we've been able to connect with a lot of community partners and people just in the neighborhood by giving away lots of yellow zucchini to anyone walking by. And so just much appreciation. Yeah, it's been a really great experience, and we hope to keep up the garden. So if you have ideas, if you like the idea of having a garden, come talk to me afterwards. We've started some fall planting so this garden can keep going. It's got so much potential. And whether or not you are a gardener or you want to do any of the work, just if you like the idea, I'd love to hear from you. So there's definitely resource to make that something that continues. So, yeah.